thank you so much for joining this broadcast, trying to answer the questions that have been sent in to me at brian@christcovenant.cc. You can send me an email if you have a question. The question comes from a member here at Christ Covenant as we are going through the book of Job. And here's the question. Is God's will for our lives to lead quiet lives, be a good spouse, parent, co-worker, and church member? At times, I feel all I've ever accomplished in my life is to develop intimacy with the Lord and to serve my family. I will have lived a successful life, but then I have the doubt of maybe there's more I should be doing. What are the good works that God has predestined me to do? For what will I be judged? And how then should I live? Well, that's a very broad question, but I'm going to try to bring it down so that it really might be able to minister to you and to others. So we know that besides loving the Lord with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, that the Bible tells us that caring and loving and providing for our spouse, our children, and our family should be our top priority. You know, Paul writes to Timothy, if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. It's pretty strong words. Now, there are seasons in a person's life when marriage, family, work, church, ministry is all that person can handle because there's only really 24 hours in a day. Planning for the future and having goals, well, it's good. You know, when I started seminary, Barbara and I had 4 boys ranging from the ages of a newborn to 14 years old. And that's also when we planted Christ Covenant and I started graduate school. Those 4 years were a blur. But Barbara and I committed ourselves to love one another, to care for our family, and to strive to fulfill God's call on our lives. I knew that the Lord was leading me to serve Him within the PCA, the Presbyterian Church in America, and in that denomination, seminary training was required. So Barbara and I agreed that we would work together to accomplish that goal. And I certainly couldn't have done it without her. So what I'm saying is that a husband and wife being in agreement is more important than anything, no matter what season of life you're going through. Lastly, you know, the Apostle Paul wrote, "Godliness with contentment is great gain." So whatever season of life that we are in, we need to seek for the Lord's contentment. For example, there was a period in my life when we first moved to South Florida when I was working outside of the ministry. I was miserable. And Barbara told me, you better get it back into the ministry because what we're going through right now is not good for us. So I think the Lord wants us to be content where we are, but He also wants us to pursue the things that He has placed on our hearts to do. The Lord tells us in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, "For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which He prepared beforehand that we would walk in them." So, whatever stage or season of life that you find yourself, I think it's important, first of all, that we trust that you belong to the Lord. Trust that you are the Lord's. Secondly, trust that the Lord has created you for a purpose. And then lastly, trust that the Lord will lead you to do the works that He had prepared for you to do even before the foundation of the world. I hope this answers your question and that you'll seek the Lord with all your heart. If you have a question, you can email me at brian@christcovenant.cc. God bless.